We start tonight at 5 o'clock with deployment to D.C. Indiana National Guard troops called up to help deter crime in our nation's capital.
And this comes at the request of the D.C. National Guard and was just authorized by Governor Braun. Jenny Runovich has been digging into who's going, when, and why. And look at this timing, Jenny.
Yeah, they'll be there over
holidays.
Christmas. Yep. So let's talk about numbers. It's about 300 National Guard soldiers who are going to be deployed. Those troops come from units in Gary and in Bloomington. They'll deploy in early December and patrol in D.C. for no longer than 4 months.
It's a domestic mission unlike any other. 300 Hoosier troops in Washington, D.C. as crime fighters, boots on the ground alongside police. Governor Braun saying in part, the troops are well trained and fully prepared for this mission. And the Guard's Adjutant General adding, National Guard soldiers and airmen are uniquely qualified to help in these types of situations. President Trump first mobilized National Guard units in August, declaring a crime emergency in the nation's capital, saying military help was essential. About 2,300 guardsmen are there now, 9 different states called up, helping with crowd control, patrolling tourist and transit areas, and literally cleaning up city streets from trash pickup to tree planting. In early December, Indiana Guard members will replace soldiers and airmen from those other states. 1 unit from the 113th Engineer Battalion in Gary and 2 units from the 150th Field Artillery Battalion out of Bloomington. Before heading to D.C., they'll prepare at Camp Atterbury. The Guard telling 13 News that includes local law enforcement giving soldiers de-escalation training. There has been public and legal pushback to the president's National Guard deployments to cities across the country, from D.C. to Memphis to Chicago. And Indiana's Attorney General has suggested sending troops to Indianapolis to curb crime. So far, that hasn't happened, but the mission in D.C. is now on for hundreds of Hoosier troops, increasing military presence in the nation's capital until at least March.
So as for the specific timeline, that's still TBD exactly when training will begin and a deployment date. Now, when it comes to cost, we did learn today that mobilization is not being paid for by the state of Indiana. That's because it's a Title 32 federal order. But as for a total, we don't know much about how much it'll cost. I actually reached out today asking that question to multiple layers of government. A Pentagon spokesperson did respond, and they said, quote, "We won't know the cost until the mission concludes."
Okay.
So, yes. I was a witness to the many calls and the many efforts of Jenny today trying to get a direct answer to what does it cost even to have them there for a day, and we could multiply it from there. But just lots of runaround today for that.
Still a lot of questions on that. Yep.
All right, Jenny, thank you so much. And as she mentioned, the Hoosier Guard members will join others from across the country. In fact, about 160 West Virginia Guard members volunteered to remain in D.C. until the end of this year. Their governor then will reevaluate extending the mission every quarter through the end of June 2026.